What is up, everybody? Your Uncle Fish is back again, bright and early this amazing Thursday morning. How is everybody doing? Gonna give some time for folks to get in and tune in and check out what Uncle Fish is working on. Get a little background music going. Gonna, I tell you, I'm fixing to have to get another mouse or something because this thing is just driving me nuts. I don't know if the optical sensor's having trouble or what, but it is. It is giving me fits, boys and girls. Yes, it is School of Fish again, your Uncle Fish and art stream where I'm coming on every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And we're doing live art and we're creating new characters on the spot. We're going to roll them up. I've got a random list of superpowers that amazing fans like you have suggested. What is up, Katie? I knew you would be here. Let me see. This mouse, I'm here to tell you. Come on now. And Javon Stokes in the house. If I could get it over here, I would show you comments. There you go. What is up, guys? Glad you're here. Yeah, I got a list of superpowers that my friends have suggested on TikTok and Facebook comments and whatnot, and we are going to roll it up. But I thought what we might do for just a second is look back at why we're doing this. Some of the cool characters that I've created by randomly rolling up powers that have led to really cool characters that are now like intricate parts of Green Zone and will be going forward. Like when y'all finally get issues 2 and 3 in your hands that were kickstarted, just recently, when they finally get printed and get in your hands, you're going to see some of these characters show up. So let me turn this on. I'm going to turn on the Fishtastic Wonder screen here, and we're going to move over to a mouse that actually works. This is one character that I really love that I randomly rolled up, and it took me a second when I got tentacles and psionic ability and the ability to mind control other people. I'm sick today. Glad School of Fish is on today to cheer me up. That's awesome. I'm sorry you're sick, Katie, but I'm glad I can cheer you up. Because that's what I'm here for, baby. But I got all these weird powers I had to mix together, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I ended up coming up with the idea for this character, Weave, and she's got these long psychic tentacles like dreads that come out of her hair, and she can weave these things out and touch people with them. And when she touches you, boom, you are hers. You will do whatever she wants you to. You'll see, feel, whatever. She has complete control over you. She can make you see crazy things. She can make you do whatever she wants. And these things just continue to grow and spread out. And she actually is one of the most powerful beings I've ever created for the world of Green Zone. This is one that I really enjoyed because I got intangibility and a technopath. So I end up with this Ghost in the Machine, is what I'm calling her for this. And she can go intangible and just go into machinery and electronics, and anything that she touches, she can take control over. And this thing becomes her new sentient pet as long as she's, within so far of it. She can fix any machine, she can upgrade anything that she touches. And for a long time, she thought she was just fixing machines, and then when she would give them to somebody else and they would break, it's your fault because you did something wrong. The machine always works for me. It took a long time before she grew up and realized that she had this psychic ability to control machines, and they only work because she's there and she's powering them to work the way they want to. You want your car upgraded to win the race? Boom, she's got you. As long as she rides along. I love this one. This one here was one of my favorites because it was so silly, and I ran up like portal generation and being able to time travel and see the future. And I just randomly rolled up an animal because a lot of the characters in Green Zone have animalistic characteristics, and there are mutant animals we're going to see later on. And so I got this llama that's all like, whoa, dude. And he can see the future and he can see all the paths it would lay out, but like he's very reminiscent to do anything because he's like, yeah, this isn't the path that the cosmos has laid out before us, and if we what we do now is going to cause ripples that will have effects on the other edge of the pond, dude. Like he's very hipster stoner, cosmic view of things, dude. This dude we got for randomly rolling up powers and then having people pick some of them on the 5-Star Friday show. So we ended up with Flexbone, who's got shiny metallic skin and bone claws. And we finally decided that he's like, one of the most useless genomes, and he's just focused on trying to be like a sports model or something. And all he does is work out and try and look pretty, and he's dumb and, just hangs out on the beach trying to get, discovered and stuff. Let's see. The next random character that I rolled up one day partly came out of a dream and then partly came out of rolling up the powers to see what this idea from the dream was going to be. And I ended up with this dude whose body was so damaged, he had to have so much of it replaced with cybernetics that he now inhabits this cybernetic like hot rod that he can race through town and rob banks and stuff, but the majority of his body is connected to this thing. He can never get further than his umbilical cord full of tentacles that connects back to the car, because the car has all of his life support stuff in it that keeps him going. And he can upgrade his vehicles, he can upgrade tech, he's a technopath as well, but he's tethered to this vehicle, and I really dig that idea that he can, he's the baddest racer in town, but he also can't get very far away from his vehicle without dying. This is a character that I got randomly. I got multiple limbs. I'm fixing to take multiple limbs off of the thing because I've got so many characters now that have multiple limbs. I don't want it to become, too big of a thing. But I rolled up multiple limbs. I rolled up sound control, which, at first I thought was just like, a sonic scream or something, but it has such specific focus over sound. Like, you can tell which way sounds are coming from, you can feel them coming, you can control sounds, move sounds. I ended up making her like a sound bender of sorts, and she's deaf. So she uses her 4 hands. In the book, you'll see her walking around with her hands out. She can feel sounds that nobody else can hear. She can even, not to give too much away, she can hear sounds from people that are not necessarily in our dimension. And she can hunt people down with these sounds. She's also an extreme martial artist and a badass. You do not want to get into a fight with her. But she can also like clap her hands and create, sonic shock waves. She can take sounds and screams and manipulate them like a waterbender and throw them back at you. She's a real badass, and she's deaf, so I get to show off, a little ASL in the book, and you get to see them being able to communicate silently where nobody else can understand what they're saying. And I think that's cool. I've had a lot of deaf friends in my life, and so representing. This is a guy I showed off in my TikTok recently. I got like shadow powers, intangibility. I got like, I don't remember the name of it, but he gets stronger the darker it gets, was the power, and multiple selves. So I came up with this guy on the Force that the darker it gets, the more he turns into actual living shadow and becomes intangible. And he can also generate shadow clones of himself. He can teleport through shadows and stuff. Could be quite the menace, and we're going to see how that works out on the Force. This is a cop I can't wait to stick in the book. I'm fixing to stick him in issue 4, I think. And, he's a traditional speedster. He's not like crazy Flash speeds, but he's a speedster, and he has advanced hearing and advanced sight, which helps out being, as fast as he is. And just think about that in the realm of Green Zone, where it's illegal to use your superpowers, and his superpower is speed. Like, how fast does he have to show up someplace before you start to question, did he use his superpowers or not? How much can he use his superpowers before, there's just no explaining how you did this without using super speed? I think that's going to be really interesting, because I think this is one of those where you could get away with using your power for a long time without anybody knowing. If you melt a wall with your acid vomit, that's going to be pretty obvious. But, you're faster than everybody else on the force. Maybe you used his powers, maybe you didn't. This one, baby, I'm waiting for the opportunity, like, in issue 65 or whatever, to bring in Boar because he is one of my favorite characters I rolled up. And I got like impenetrable skin, cybernetic enhancements, I got augmented hearing and sight, I got animal familiar. And so what I ended up doing was making the animal familiar is this thing when I rolled up for the animal, I got a wild boar. And these dudes get big. These wild hogs get freaking huge. So they're massive, they're dangerous, they're vicious. Um, so what we got is this Frankenstein together genetically engineered military animal that's been bred for military combat. He's been bred to be smart so he can follow commands. He's had all these cybernetic enhancements. He's got this thick, dense blubber on him that's almost completely bulletproof, and you know he could survive a mortar shell. He'll get hurt and tore up, but he's going to make it out. He might be dragging some parts behind him, but he'll make it out of it. And, you know, and he's smart enough to be able to follow instructions like any other soldier on the force. So, I'm just finding the right time to bring him in and introduce Boar because he's going to be cool. This guy I really enjoyed drawing. I really loved him. I did a TikTok video on him. Absolutely cannot remember what I rolled up for him. I can't remember what I rolled up that got me to this skinny, beautiful, cosmic powered dude. I remember he doesn't have full control over his powers and doesn't realize how powerful he is. I think he probably has amnesia too. I can't remember for sure. And this dude, I got augmented hearing and mutant bat. So, that was pretty simple. But he's going to be in Green Zone. He's going to be in the blocks. He's the type of dude that can find what you want and what you want in the blocks. He's the kind of guy that traffics information because he hears it all. This dude I rolled up with my new charts and stuff that I got with superpowers from everybody, and I got multiple limbs, and I got biometallic armor. And so we end up with strong arm here. This is, big bruiser henchman for the higher up bad guys in Green Zone, and hires himself out to only the best of the best. And he's a tough dude to have to compete with. This is Shadow Sparrow that we rolled up on episode 2, I believe. Katie, my beloved friend from across the sea, even did a color version of this that honestly, I kind of dig her wings a lot better because they looked like silver, brass, and copper, and looked like clockwork wings that were built into the armor. And I love that look. It was so cool. This dude I just did a TikTok on this morning with the time lapse art from him, and I got again multiple limbs, which is why I'm fixing to take that out. And telekinesis, puppet master, and mushy body, which was mushy body. But hey, somebody suggested it, so there we go. And I ended up with this dude that just floats around with his telekinetic powers and mind controls everybody, with his crazy psionic abilities. And I've had a story that I've been working on for a while that features a dude called Mr. Finders Keepers. And he is... I'm trying to get my mouse to work here. There we go. Now it showed it. And Mr. Finders Keepers is this legendary character that all the kids tell nursery rhymes about. And, if your mama goes missing, it was probably Mr. Finders Keepers. And if daddy went away to get milk and he never came back, he belongs to Mr. Finders Keepers now. And if Mr. Finders gets you, he's going to keep you. And he's this mysterious, character, but he actually lives in the shadows of the Green Zone and does collect people into this mindless army that he feeds off of telepathically. And I had another idea for the look of him, and he was going to be completely alien. But after doing this one, God, I dig this dude so much more, and I like this idea better. I like him better for that role. So I'm changing it because it's my world and I can do what I want to do. This dude I created the other day, same thing, using the charts with the powers that I've gotten from everybody. And I got let's see, I got gosh, what did I get? I got generating atomic energy. I got time manipulation, multiple selves, and super speed. And because of another character that I am creating that's going to be like the big superhero of this world, and I needed a villain for that, and based off of his powers, I decided to come up with Xander Zion, the Quantum Man. And due to this atomic accident that he was in with this hero that's going to show up at some point in one of my books, he got doused with this quantum energy and his consciousness got spread out throughout the cosmos. And now, he's like Dr. Manhattan and Lex Luthor if Lex Luthor never got past his ego and got to that I'm stepping away from humanity point. Like, he's still the smartest man in the world and still thinks that he's the best, and he deserves to be in charge of everything. His ego has not gotten away, but now he has access to combing throughout his entire existence, which is a long time now, and like picking technology from the future and bringing it and using it. He can bring multiple versions of himself to the same time to fight. It's so cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think Home Dude's going to be perfect for Mr. Finders Keepers too. And the Quantum Man here, he's going to be really. I'm looking forward to the storyline. Actually, probably going to end up being an offshoot story because I got a whole nother cast of characters that I want to introduce. But I got a lot of those. This dude is, your average, current day barbarian in power armor. This I rolled up for a familiar and got a Aztec fish, so I ended up making this ghostly Aztec fish piranha that this little old lady can generate and will swim around through the air and attack people that are hurting her. And now we get down to today, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Now we get down to today. So all right, now it's time to roll up. If I can get this mouse, I'm here to tell you, man. I just got to break down and buy another one. That's what I got to do. Come on. Okay, there we go. It is so screwy. All right, we are going to roll up. Boom, on the new dice tower that I made just for the show, just for the boys and girls that watch School of Fish, because I love you and I'm willing to put in the hard work for you. Now, we got to roll up superpowers, and one of my favorite things is that this chart breaks it up into groups of 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want. So I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll a 6-sided, and let's see what we get. We got two powers. Alrighty. So let me. Come on. I tell you, man. This mouse is going to be the death of me, man. I don't know if the grandbabies smacked it around or something. Come on. I cannot believe this. Welcome to School of Fish, where we're just staring at a dice tower all day. Yada yada. Alright, let's turn that off for a second and hope we can get back to it again. And now we're going to go to the grand wheel. And Come on, Mousy. Work with me here. Oh, Mousy, be a friend. How you gonna do me this way, Mouse? What Uncle Fishy ever do to you? That's what I want to know. What Uncle Fishy ever do to a mouse? I'm a friend of mice. Just ask Mickey. All right, we go to groups of two, and we got all that. And now, because we're going to try and be extra, because that's how Fishy does, now we're going to roll this little 20-sided and see which one we're going to pick. And we got 17. 17, ladies and gentlemen. 17. So, now, come on. You're going the wrong way, Mousy. Why you gotta be like that, Mousy? That's what I want to know. Defense power. Mimic or give the opposite power of who's coming at you. And water manipulation. Good gracious. That is something. Does the mouse need new batteries? You know what? I just replaced the batteries before Tuesday's show. I think the mouse is just being a little bitch, what I think. But, I'm not talking to all mice. I'm not disparaging all mice in the world. I love mice. I've had pet mice. I've had friend mice. Don't come in my house and get in my cereal, but I love mice. This mouse I don't care for. But yeah, I just put new batteries in it. So I thought surely that's the problem. Surely that's what's doing it. And it's just as bad as it was. Okay. I've been looking forward to doing the being able to mimic and oppose somebody else's powers. The water manipulation is weird. That's the part that I'm sitting here racking my old brains how I'm gonna figure out. Come on, Mousy. Close out the show. Mousy's being a jerk. Mousy's fixing to get kicked into Botox. That's what Mousy's fixing to do. Yeah, this is aggravating me. All right, let's see. We are going to come over here. We're going to turn that off. We are going to try and get him to work for a second. And we're going to turn that back on so at least we can stay there for a minute. All righty. So, defense, mimic powers, copy them and throw them back at people. And water manipulation. Like, my first thought is to do like a waterbender. I mean, because they can, they would be really good at, throwing things back at you. Like, that's how dude learned to rechannel lightning and throw it back. Like, I mean, but also I don't want to just, create somebody from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, man, water manipulation. What are we gonna do with that? Maybe they can use the water in different ways to defend against other people's powers, and they can't, like, maybe they're not particularly outwardly aggressive with their powers. Like, their powers aren't to drown you or cut through you with a, razor sharp stream of high powered water or whatever. But, it's only in defense. Okay. See, now we're getting somewhere. What if this is like, I hate to say like a monk again, but what if this is somebody who has, trained for a long time in the art of how to use this ability, and it's only in defense because they could get lost in the ability to hurt people. And, that's the dark side, and I'm only going to be on the light side, and I'm only going to defend against attacks that are coming my way. And, your first thought, if you're going to do like, a monk or something, would be like, you need this toned, like, bald Asian dude or something. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because it's too on the nose. I want to do somebody different. So let's say we'll do a. Hmm. My first thing is to do a young girl, because that would be the opposite of, a big muscular tone dude. But oh man, what if it's an old lady? Okay, what if it's an old lady? And it's also given us the ability to give a character for all the little short old ladies out there to be able to cosplay if they want to. All right. I am really digging this idea. And okay, we are talking one of these little old ladies that is chilling in the park doing her Tai Chi. Like this kind of, oh, okay. See, sometimes I roll these things up and I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. And then I start working on it, start percolating, and then all of a sudden I come up with an idea that I really love, and now I've got yet another character that I've got to manage to fit in somewhere, but this one will be easier to fit in. So, okay, we're going to have this short little lady, and she's going to have little arm fat coming off the back. She's going to have wings and little short stubby fingers. And water manipulation is very powerful against living creatures, as most creatures are mostly made of water. Oh, absolutely. And see that, Katie, that is the brilliance of it. That's where I love the idea of her only using it defensively, because like if she wanted to, she could very easily like be like a bloodbender kind of thing, like she could very easily go bad very quickly, and she knows that, and she doesn't want to do that. Like she's spent her life working on not being that person, and controlling this amazing abilities that she has, that she could just take over if she wanted to. Nope, that's too far out. Let's lay in some guidelines there, fishes, so we know what we're doing. How about an old hippie type who used her power to help irrigate crops and help in droughts? All right, I dig what you're playing in there. I smell what you're stepping in. I'm loving it. That's a great idea. Oh man, and I'm seeing like, one of these older ladies, these older queens that, were in the Black Power movement and wearing like a dashiki and stuff, and you know and all of, about social change and making the world a better place, and taking care of her community, and oh man, I'm loving this idea. Give her like a flower patterned little silk scarf on top of her head, and then give her big gray afro. think she needs some glasses. That's what I think. I think she needs some big, old school, come way down glasses. Get a little bit of the makeup smeared between her cheeks and the glasses, and they start down low and then they pop up high. See, Katie digs it. Katie's with the vibe over here. She knows what's what. That's why I like Katie. And, give her the little beaded necklace to hold it on. Oh, I am loving her, baby. She is going to be an awesome character to stick in the background of the blocks. And, you know, it's been funny. Like, the more I send pages as I finish them to Lori Foster from Unlikely Hero Studios, who's been editing the last couple books for me, she's like, "Oh, God bless his heart, why are you so mean to Virgil?" And so far, everybody that we've managed to see in the blocks has been really nasty to Virgil. But I can see this being one lady who would be like, "Oh, come here, child. Let me help. If you had anything to eat," and might actually look out for somebody because she can see, the real him, and she's got this connection with the world and the way it really works, and everything through the water has a very spiritual look at everything. Doesn't just see what's on the outside, but sees the way the water flows through you and realizes that we're all more than. God, I'm starting to fall in love with this. I want her to be my grandma. God, I'm just loving this lady. She's kind, she's sweet, she's generous, giving of her time and her heart and her knowledge to the younger generations, wanting to lift up the next generation of genomes to be better. Don't fall for, the lure of the man who's going to try and trick you into lashing out and trick you into crime and hold you down with cheap liquor and whatnot. And, don't fall for the man's ploys. You got to be better than that. You got to educate yourself. You got to. Oh, yeah. I am just loving her. All this power over water, and she's in danger of losing her feet to diabetes. She's using that healing power to keep her feet. She don't want to lose her feet to the sugars. Oh my God. She is so freaking cool. And see, I can guarantee you, I never would have come up with exactly this character if I was just left to my own devices and my own imagination. Like, I'm a creative dude and I come up with lots of weird stuff, but I never would have come up with this amazing creature on my own if I hadn't have been spurred to this particular mix of, amazing powers. she's just pulling this water out of the ground and turning it into an ice shield right there in front of. Oh, I love you, baby. I loves you. Uncle Fishy loves you. And I ain't playing with your heart, baby. No. This is a real love. This is a goes down deep love. This is gonna be here in the good times and the bad times kind of love, baby. Uncle Fish is here for you, mama. Put a little knot on her nose because she needs a little character. And my mom had one. You know, that's something that I think sometimes people might confuse some of the little doodads that I add to people as being negative things. And I don't see them that way. A lot of times, the weirder little characteristics that I add on to people, like the little knot that I tend to put on the front of the forehead of bald guys, like I said before, that comes straight from my stepdad. That was, a characteristic that he had that just, made him stand out as old Jay Fred. And I love that. A friend of mine's dad had a very similar knot on the side of his head, but that was. It looks weird when I copy that one because if you don't know there's a metal plate under there, you don't know why he's got that big lump on the side of his head. But the one in the middle just reads right. And it's a way to remember both of those men that were, very instrumental parts of my life. And like that little knot on the nose, I've got one. My mom's had one. And, that's not I made this woman look like a witch. No, that's a beautiful nod to my mother. And, I do lots of things like that, from sometimes a bent crooked finger or jacked up teeth. Like a lot of times, like when I drew Mr. Finder's Keepers there, I gave him one tooth that was really recessed back in the back because your Uncle Fishy's got one. And it doesn't look that bad in person, but in pictures, the shadow hits it just right. Looks like I'm missing that tooth half the time. And so that is a characteristic that a lot of times I stick in other characters because, it's interesting and it's me. And I dig that. And I add lots of things from people that I love and people that I care about. And so. But then Uncle Fishy also has a wider definition of what beauty is than a lot of people, I guess. Like, I'll never forget working on one book, and the writer was vehement that, he wanted this character to be a larger, heavy woman. Sent me lots of reference pictures of, beautiful, large women. And said, I want her to be like this. I want her to be, a big woman, but I want her to be beautiful because she's going to be a potential love interest down the road for my character. And so I drew her, as this beautiful, curvy woman, very attractive. Just loved her. I was really proud of it. And I sent it off to the client. He's like, dude, I wanted her a little chubby. I didn't want her ugly. It has to be believable that he could, fall for her. I wanted her pretty. And all I could think is, I thought she was beautiful. I thought she was foxy. So, A, there's no accounting for taste. And B, Everybody likes their Kool-Aid a little different, I guess. But I I'll do things on a character and think it's beautiful, and somebody else might be, "Ooh, you did that. You should put a dot on her nose, make her look like a witch, make her look like a goblin." Nope. Put that dot on her nose because even the Mona Lisa has a few little flaws that makes it even more beautiful. And the Mona Lisa's only beautiful because she got stolen and was the most famous painting. That's a soapbox argument for another day. That's when we'll have to get Javon on the show for us. We can argue about it. I see you wearing this dashiki, mama. I see you dressing all sexy. Trying to camouflage all that sexy so we don't see it, but we see it, mama. Yeah. Grandma knows where it goes. That's what we say on the streets. Katie says, I hate that people have that attitude. The large woman can't be beautiful and sexy. It makes so many plus size women feel unworthy. I'm here to tell you. And I mean, I'm all for being healthy and everything. Like I'm trying to lose some weight because I got to get my blood pressure down, and the Uncle Fish don't want to lose his feet or his vision. So I got to try and lose some weight and keep that diabetes under control. Because I'm a great big old man, and it's hard enough for me to get around. I definitely don't need to be having to try and do that on one foot. That would suck. But that don't mean you can't be beautiful in the skin you're in. But then I've never, I study the human form. I've studied it my whole life to try and learn how to be a better artist and, everything. And I've definitely learned to see the beauty in just about, most bodies. Every once in a while, you get somebody covered in blisters and sores, and I love them, but that's kind of hard to find sexy. But I've been able to find the beauty in everything. And the one thing I wish women would get a hold of across the globe is, I don't care how much you see that one flaw, or you think, oh, I'm too heavy, oh, I'm too skinny, oh, I'm too this, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too bony, I'm too whatever. There's a whole bunch of dudes out there that would give anything to get to spend a moment with you and get to know your name. So you should be walking around proud of yourself and not tearing yourself down for one little thing or another. One of the few shows I can think of where truly plus size woman is shown as a love interest without being a joke was an old British comedy called The Vicar of Dibley, and all the men in it fancied her without feeling forced or like a joke. And let's see, without it being fished a joke. And in the end, she got the hot husband too. Cool, good for her. Oh man, I can't even count how many times in real life I've seen the plus size woman walking away with the man while the little skinny girls, they might get played with a little, but they're not the ones that, got taken home. And nothing against skinny girls. I love all the skinny girls out there too. My daughters are skinny girls. But I'm just saying, like, TV acts like it's only one way and it's only this, and more often than not, the woman's got the curves is the one that's taking home the man. But society gonna try and tell you something else, because they're trying to say something. All Uncle Fishy wants to sell you is a couple of comic books. I'm not trying to get rich selling you beauty creams. I'm trying to sell you a book about an 8-foot lizard boy trying to make it in the world. A tale as old as time. I think we all have a little bit of 8-foot lizard in us, wouldn't you say? Whoops. There's a curve there that Uncle Fishy missed. And that's an important curve. That's a major landmark. We don't want to skip the major landmarks. We can skip the balls of twine, but you don't skip the Valley of the Gods when you're on a road trip. That's what your Uncle Fishy says. Your Uncle Fishy says a lot of crazy stuff. You may not have noticed. Your Uncle Fishy has too much time on his hands. Nobody to talk to except for old Katie. Sometimes Sarah when she chimes in. And I dare say they're just as damn crazy as I am. Man, I'm here to tell y'all, for y'all that haven't been watching, y'all need to go on the Agents of Geekdom Network and y'all need to check out UHS Studios. Unlikely Hero Studios presents. They do some awesome stuff. Some of my favorite creators outside of FSK in the world. Love everything they put out. And I'm here to tell you, Katie turned me on to it after the last show. They had D Fish on, no relation, who's pitching her new book at FSK, which is reprinting her old comic strips, Finding D, that she's been doing for a long time, and redoing them in color, which our friend Katie has been coloring, which have turned out amazing, by the way. Having done a black and white strip in the past myself, that's a job, and you did a beautiful job at it. And they were on UHS Presents the other night, and they had old D on there, and she was just drawing up characters on the spot like your Uncle Fishy would do. Old D's fast. Old D could whip out a pencil and get it done. I was very impressed. Maybe a touch gobsmacked. It was a beautiful thing to see. I'll admit, I can be honest with you, because it's just us here. Not like it's being cast out on the internet for the world to see. I can admit, when I first saw D Fish's name come across my thing, my first thought was, well, that's a hell of a name to be walking around with. Like, who is this young upstart here walking around with half of my name? Well, let's see who this is. I'm here to tell you, after seeing D draw some UHS characters live, like, all right, she earned that fish name. You can have that. You quick and talented. I'm impressed. I'm not going to be worried about you walking around with the same name out there. That's something to be proud of now. She was out there tearing it up. Did some really nice work. And I forget sometimes that she doesn't just do the cartoon. She does some comic stuff too. Has quite a history on working on a lot of cool projects. And, I forget that sometimes. Because, our brain wants to categorize people and put them in a box and say, oh, she's the cartoon lady. But no, I'd like to face off with D now. See what we could do. See who wins in a contest. Fish on, fish action. That'd probably be a whole different kind of show. That'd probably have to be for the OnlyFans. Nah. Your Uncle Fish is happily married man. But I would like to compete with her on drawing some characters. See who comes out first. See who gets done first. See who the fans think does a better job. That would be an awesome thing to do. And a worthy competitor to do it against. These comics so good. Still a few days to go for the Kickstarter too. Oh man, y'all got to get over there on Kickstarter and check it out. Finding D, it is good. It's the current one. There's a bunch of Finding D's out there. When I went and first looked for it, do you got the link, Katie? You could drop in the comments for people. So when I first went to go look for it, I was like, "Oh, Project We Love," and all. No, that's an old one. Oh, nope, that's an old one. That was Project We Love. Took me a second to find the current one, but it's good. You know, your Uncle Fishy got up there and backed it on day one, because if it's unlike Hero Studios, it's got to be good. That's one thing I've really enjoyed about doing these podcasts and stuff, is the people that we've managed to meet. Like, I met Katie on a UHS podcast, and I met Lori from there when she came on 5 Star Fridays. I forgot the name of our own show. And I was so impressed with her work and the look of the books that they were putting out. And we got to talking after the show, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll send you some copies of the book." So she sent me some PDFs of some of the books, and oh my God, I fell in love with Super. It is my top favorite indie comic of all time now. I mean, there's a whole lot of indie comics that I love dearly. Spider Squirrel is way up there, but man, I would do anything I could possibly do to be a part of helping get Super back up and running again. I love that book. That just scratched the perfect itch for me and is the perfect mix of funny, taking a funny look at comics, and and some of the things that are kind of ridiculous about comics, but doing it in a loving, honorable way, and not a make fun of, not a tear down, not a I hate superheroes. It's done in a beautiful way that honors it, and is like, man, isn't this silly? It's so cool. Oh, I love it. I love it. It is hands down one of my favorites. Cannot recommend it enough, and that's why I will always share anything I can from UHS Studios, because it is always good stuff. But yeah, that's one of my favorite things about doing these kind of podcasts and stuff, is all the people I've got to meet and friends that I've got to make along the way. and connections that I wouldn't have had otherwise if I hadn't have started putting myself out there and, agreed to go on Tony's silly old podcast he started doing. And but I also knew I was going to have to start doing more and more of this stuff as I started doing more and more of my own books. And I was like, well, if nothing else, I'll get comfortable being on screen. And lo and behold, I've made a lot of friends and worked on some awesome projects because of the friends that I've made. So y'all need to get on there and go over to uhsstudios.com/kickit2 Finding D, and uhsstudios.com kick it for Power Broker 3 and 4, because your Uncle Fishy just backed that. I was concerned at first because I thought I had missed issue 4 because I only got 1 and 2 and now it was 4. And what happened? Had to ask Sarah for the link because my phone won't copy it for some reason. Well, thank you, Sarah, for jumping in the clinch and helping us out. I'm going to tell Lori what you said about Super. You're going to make her cry. Oh, baby. Lori knows how I feel about Super. Lori knows. Oh, deep in my heart. Deep in the heart of Texas. I love me some Super. Woo. It is, man, it is just the best. It is the best. And, I understand why it's on hiatus. I respect that. But, man, it is such an amazing thing. I don't want to see it end. It's one of those things like Star Wars or He-Man or the Lone Ranger or Zorro that just should continue on. It's like I got a lot of stories I'm working on. I don't want to end with me. I don't know how long I got left on this world, but some of these stories should go on. Like I've got it in my contract that my son gets first right of refusal to keep doing Green Zone after I'm gone, because he's talented and he knows it as well as I do. And I want him to continue it on if he can. Absolutely. If we can do it justice, but I will do anything I can to be a help in that. If it means driving to Montana and packing boxes, by George, I'll do it. I wouldn't do it for anybody else, but I'd do it for Lori. So I hate riding in a car. Montana's freaking big as all outdoors. Take forever to drive across that thing. But I'd do it for Lori. I might would do it for Sarah, but I definitely would do it for Lori. And we'll be there to help, I guarantee you. But that's the thing. That's about, being good people and making good friends in the indie comics community and stuff, I really do believe if you're good to people and you treat them right and whatnot, that's going to come back in your favor. And so far it has. I've got some persnickety rules that sometimes drive people up the wall. Like I have a rule about not putting out bad content anymore, because used to, if the client wasn't paying much or if the client was a jerk or whatever, like if you were only paying, if you're paying $20 an hour for a project, you got $20 an hour work out of me. If you were paying $100 an hour, you got $100 an hour work. If you were paying 10, you got 10. And then I showed some of my work to a comic book artist that I admired at a show, and he very politely told me that I sucked. And it hurt my feelings, but none of the comments that he made about my work were incorrect. It was inconsistent. It did look different from page to page. And, and I gave him all of my excuses of, well, you see, this client was a jerk and this client wasn't paying very much and this one had a very short deadline. And he said, none of that matters. The people reading your books don't know anything about that. They don't know the client was a jerk. They don't know your side of the story. All they know is that this is your work and this is your name. next to it, "This is the kind of work you do." And that ticked me off. And then I realized he was absolutely right. It 100%, they don't know. They don't know what's going on. Woo! Driving to Montana is treacherous. I'll bet. You get killed by a moose out there on the road. And so I set up a rule for myself after that I was never going to put out anything but my best work that I could do. And I wasn't going to do ugly stuff anymore just because, the client doesn't have any taste or whatever. And only once have I had to walk away from a job, and that guy actually turned out to be legit crazy and went nuts on me and stuff. But that's the only time I've ever had to actually walk away from a job over it. But I've come close a few times because I won't put out ugly work anymore. And, I can't just walk away and say, well, if they don't care what it looks like, what do I care? Because that's my name going on it, and that's what people are going to see, and people are going to think this is reflective of the kind of work that I do, and it's not. So, we need to find a way to make this good. And it makes some people angry sometimes and makes me seem kind of difficult sometimes when I stick my heels in, but I'm not going to put out ugly work. I try and make that clear, folks, up front, but sometimes, gets lost in the wash, I guess. But the point of that story, the point of going down that rabbit hole, was that once I started only doing my best work, my work got so much better, and everybody started wanting to hire me, and my reputation shot up, and I started getting more and more work because I had made a promise to myself to do my best. And I've seen, some other guys that I deeply respect and admire that still put out varying degrees of work depending on what you're paying them at the moment or whatever. And I've started to hear people say some of the same things that they used to would have said about me, about, yeah, I like his work, but it's just so inconsistent and I never know what I'm going to get. And you can look at my work and know what you're going to get. Now, readers don't care either. They will leave. If they don't like what they see. Yeah, they will. And the readers won't give you a second chance sometimes. The readers will be very quick to say, nope, don't like that. And they will just forever put you in the category of, nope, ain't going to follow him, ain't going to read him, ain't going to watch what he's trying to do. And none of the excuses are going to matter. They are quick and fickle, as is their right to be. But you don't get a lot of chances to make a mistake with the audience. And so your Uncle Fishy's always going to err on the side of putting out his best possible work. And sometimes that makes me come off as difficult, and I apologize. That one little bead on the end is just determined to be difficult. Well, you know what, bead? I'm more powerful than you. I'm in God mode over here, and you just playing around. Pick a fight with somebody you can't handle, bead. I'm out of your category. Beat over here thinking I was playing. All right, now little dashiki section of sky over here gonna get difficult with me too. Fixing to have to put the whoop on this whole production over here. thinking something in the yellows. God, I wish I could put on some copyrighted music because I'm just really hearing loving you is easy because you're beautiful right now with this, man. I'm thinking that's her theme song. That's what I think. And I'm the only one that matters right now. So what do y'all think? All my amazing viewers, both Sarah and Katie. Do y'all think I should incorporate all these things together and put out an art book of these drawings? Because I've been thinking, I've honestly got enough of these things right now. I could put out a book if I wanted to. And might be a nice little extra thing to be able to put out in the short term and maybe make a couple of cents on it. Alrighty. We got one vote of yes. We've got one vote of that would be great. We've even got a Schoolfish art book in all caps. Well, by God, that's 66% of the audience right now. That's an overwhelming majority. What's up, Doomsmith's Lightpad channel? Glad you're here. You make up the other 33% of our viewers live at the moment. Glad you are here. We are working on a new live character that we just designed here. We rolled up off of the chart of random powers that people have suggested in TikTok comments and Facebook comments and whatnot. I compiled a list of random superpowers, and we got the ability to basically the ability to mimic other people's powers in the opposite to defend against it. And we got water powers. Doomsmith says, do it, do. That's 100% of the audience. That's an overwhelming majority. This book's going to be a success. I'm going to sell dozen and dozen of copies. I'm going to have going to the arcade kind of money. I'm going to have that jingle jangle money, baby. Whoops, that was the wrong color. Silly color picker. You got the wrong color. Oh, we need some orange up in here, too. Chapow, 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 chapow. Skadoosh, 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 skadoosh. Koopsh, 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 koopsh. You may not have known that your Uncle Fishy makes noises while he's drawing. But you may not have known that your Uncle Fishy is certifiably insane. But the good kind. The Murdoch from the A-Team kind of insane. Not the Murdoch from MacGyver kind of insane. That's a big difference. If you don't know, you should know. Shame on you. Severed Anomaly says, I love this character. She looks like she could be one of the elders in Sokka and Katara's tribe in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Absolutely. She probably migrated from a different tribe, but oh man, she would fit in beautifully. And I love her vibe. She's looking so good. Love the color on the clothes. Absolutely. And Doomsmith says, Clip Studio, you better believe it, baby. I love me some Clip Studio. And she's going to bake us some cookies when she's done destroying the Fire Nation invaders. You better believe it. Just hope you don't have to have a drug test after you eat her cookies. That's all I'm saying. Because she says, screw the man and his drug test. Just trying to hold you down. That's what he's doing. It's all a plot. Got that right. Them special cookies. Them cookies you just don't let the kids at them cookies just any old way. No, these is the grown up cookies. You need to. Oh man, I love her so much. She is. Oh my god, I cannot wait to put her in Green Zone. And it really bothers me that issues 1 through 3 are done. Issues 2 and 3 are just waiting to go to the printer. I'm fixing to start work on issue 4. And issue 4, I can't ruin the story, but it takes place basically in one building most of the time. I really want to put her in book 4 because I love her so much. I cannot really think of a legitimate reason why she would be there. But God, I want to put her in so soon. Oh, I just love her. Oh, absolutely. Gotta have the flip flops because, she's all Mother Earth. Got to be able to kick off those chanclas real quick and, connect with Mother Earth and feel the dirt between her toes. All this stuff, so she can better vibe with the water force. You should add a Saul segment in your book with a tutorial on putting comic pages together in Clip Studio. That's one thing that I'm actually going to get into later on in this channel because I'm going to start work. Like when I get back to Green Zone, I can't really work on the book I'm working on now because it gives too much away. But when I get back to Green Zone, I'm going to be doing some of the pages live on here, and I'm going to talk about that and like setting up your pages so that it's already ready for the printer instead of, just guessing at that and all kinds of different things. I just had an amazing conversation with my son about perspective this morning and how easy it is in Clip Studio, and he was blown away by it. Are you going to try and put all of your School of Fish character designs into Green Zone? I'm going to try and put as many of them as I can. A lot of them have turned around and become actual living, breathing characters in Green Zone that have important parts now. Like some of the ones that I did just for TikTok rolling up a character are now Racket, the four-armed sound warrior. And, she's one of the, henchmen in the block Virgil lives in, and she shows up in issue 2. And a lot of these are going to show up there too. Some of them, it's going to take me longer to be able to get to fit them in. Some of them may end up in offshoot books. But honestly, if I had the money to do it right now, I would have 4 other teams working on other Green Zone books that I have laid out, and we would be launching them all. But I don't have the money to pay the other teams right now, and Uncle Fishy can only do it all for so long. Let's see. I bet she grows some great veggies in the communal garden. You better believe it. And I am adding that in. I've been thinking about that, and she's absolutely. Oh, it has just changed. It's not wearing socks underneath the sandals. Gotta be barefoot, baby. She's got to be able to have that contact with Mother Earth because she goes way back to the movement, back in the days. Man, I want to do so much more to this. Like I want to add textures and I want to add highlights and shadows, but I kind of just dig it so much right now where it is. I just, gosh, I love it. I just love it. Same. We have so many good ideas, but UHS doesn't make enough money. Preach, sister. I know. Like, I was hoping I was going to make enough money on the last Kickstarter for the books 2 and 3 Green Zone that I'd be able to hire my colors back for the next books, but I didn't make that much money. So it's going to be back to Uncle Fishy doing it all again. And which is, okay, it is what it is. I can do it. I just was hoping to be able to hire somebody else out, spread the love a little bit, and get the books done a little bit faster. But I'm still fast, so it's really not an issue. But, man, I would love to be able to afford to hire on some other artists. I've got some artists in mind for stories. I've got some funny ideas. I've got some serious ideas. I want to follow around Firehouse in this world as we're seeing them trying to earn their citizenship. I want to follow around a special ops military force in this world. I want to follow around people that work for Alpha, which is the overarching international organization in my world, where like if you go pro and become a hero, you work for Alpha. And that's, follow around like one of their B teams and it'd be cool. Just imagine if all us indie creators could get together and fund all our good ideas. We would destroy DC and Marvel. You better believe it, babe. If we could keep the quality up and stuff, and make it top notch like UHS does. Katie over here saying she might be up for doing some cover art practice. Ooh. Oh, think of all the scales on Virgil. Oh my Lord, think of all the scales. Woo, that would be a beautiful thing. Let's see here. And fun marketing. Oh my God, it is so hard to get people to see our stuff. Comic lovers everywhere would buy it if they only knew. Marketing is that thing that I really want to figure out how to crack, because I know it works. I know advertising works. They wouldn't be spending billions of dollars on ads for the Super Bowl if they didn't pay off multiple fold on top of that. I know advertising works. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do it, especially when you're at a small scale and you don't have $2 million to put into that advertising. How can you get the best bang out of your buck with targeted marketing that goes right to the people that want to buy stuff on Kickstarter? And trying to figure out that little bit of the algorithm is something I wish I could do. I wish I had that skill set. I'm trying to learn. I'm paying attention to everybody that I can. I'm trying to pick up little nuggets of gold everywhere I can find them. But man, it is a tough nut to crack, and the people that do figure it out tend to want to keep that a secret. And which strikes me as kind of gatekeepery, but they get in that mindset. They work so hard to get to the top, they're afraid of anybody else getting there and knocking them down. And I've always seen it as there's plenty of room for all of us, especially at the level we're working at. None of us are individually trying to take out Marvel and DC with any real sense. But, let's see. What should I say here? Have you ever tried to take out a 30-second radio ad on a local station? $300 to run it one time. Yikes. And that's the thing. $300 for a 30-second ad on a local radio that's going to run one time might possibly hit one listener that would actually be interested. And if it does hit that one listener that's actually interested from what they heard on the radio, didn't even see images of the books, then are they going to remember the link by the time they get home? How many times did I try writing something down in the car and forgot it before I got home, and never did go look at the website that I thought about? It's tough. Heard about bots farming helping with marketing somewhere. Absolutely, probably does. That would probably help more than anything, because then you could artificially, stir up the algorithm thinking, oh, a lot of people like this, let me show it out to everybody. And that's the thing that really ticks me off with Facebook in particular. When I started my Tourette's Life cartoon, which was kind of like Finding D, it was a one-panel cartoon most of the time, black and white, and it was about my life with Tourette syndrome. And it kind of blew up enough that it was getting too much traffic to be on my regular page, and they're like, hey, you need to set up a fan page for this. So I set up a fan page, and I thought, well, if I get 30 fans to this by the end of the month, I'll keep doing it. I got 800, then 1,000, then 2,000, and it built up to about 4,000 people now that follow this page. Anything I post to that page now, in the beginning, if I posted to it, almost all of them would see it. Half of them would share it, and then twice that many would see it somewhere else. Now, I'm sharing it out. 4,000 people have clicked on my page and say, yes, I want to follow his stuff. None of it ever gets seen by more than 200 people unless I pay for it. And that's jacked up. That is jacked up. They won't show it even to the people that said, yes, I want to see this, unless I pay them to show it to it. And that's just, that makes me mad. That ain't right. Bots are cool, but the good ones are expensive too. Oh, ain't that the name of the game? Money, 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 money. All right, folks. that's as far as I'm going today because I really kind of love it where it is, and I'm gonna think about it before I mess with it too much more. Thank you guys for being here while I help come up with this awesome new character. I was really worried when I rolled it up, but I dig it. And what do you guys think of the rolling up the character? What do you think of my lovely dice tower over here that some of y'all came in late might have missed? But you put you take your dice Rooney hand, you drop it in the top of Tower Grayskull, and skadoosh, you get a big fat number 6. The live draw number tonight is number 6. So I got this. I built this. I didn't get this. I built this because my wife bought me all these little He-Man because she knows I love He-Man, but I didn't have a little Castle Grayskull, and I didn't have any reason to build a little Castle Grayskull unless it's something that was going to be helpful on my TikToks and my shows and my Facebook posts and my YouTube reels and my yada yada yadas, because I can't do anything just for fun unless it's making money. So I built my little dice tower there, and I love it. I hope somebody else enjoys it as much as I do. Absolutely. That's exactly what they're doing. They're going to try and force everybody to have to pay to get anything out there. Yep, Facebook used to be great. Now you can't see anything you want unless we pay studios, pay to get it seen, and it's infuriating. It absolutely is. Now, see, loving the dice tower. Thank you. I even sat here and went through all kinds of old drawings just to give time to let folks get in before I did the dice tower, because I wanted y'all to get to see it, because I love my new dice tower. And someday I'm going to use it in an actual role-playing game. But for now, it's going to make my TikToks oh so special, oh so beautiful, oh so lovely. People are going to say, oh, Mr. Fisher, where can I get this lovely dice tower? And I'm going to say, you can't, because you got to make it yourself. And then people are going to say, oh, why don't you change your TikTok channel to just making dice towers and cool crap out of foam for role-playing games? And I'm going to say, I thought about that, but comic books was easier. So I did that instead. That's what I'm going to say. Missed it in the start. Well, see, Facebook user, what you need to do is you need to go back and watch it from the beginning, because you can't, because I put it in. And I've taken video of it that I'm going to add up into all my TikToks and stuff, so you'll be able to see it there too. Oh man, didn't get notified to your streams, did show up till halfway, but I love your art streams. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really need to get better about just setting them all up earlier in the week so that I can share them out earlier and not waiting till the day of, because, then it only gives people a little bit of time. But your Uncle Fishy's also trying to knock out page after page of comic book art. I'm trying to do live streams. I'm trying to do podcasts. I'm trying to put in 16 hours a day of comic books. Just can't get all that done. To be fair, I'm still kind of in bed at 10 o'clock anyway. Well, that's the lovely thing about your phone, baby. You can just sit there and watch it. You can, oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that. Oh, Fish, you're so awesome. Oh, yeah, you need to do this. See, it's easy. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do if you really was a fan. That's all I'm saying. If you was a real fan, you'd be out there sleep texting. Oh, Fish is so cool. Oh, share to all my friends. Ooh, like and subscribe to Agents of Geekdom Network. Oh, I can follow it on YouTube and hit the bell to be notified. Ooh, I can follow it on Twitch. See, that just saying if you was a real fan. That's all I'm saying. I would if Twitch had told me. Well, see, bad Twitch. I don't know nothing about Twitch. I know I'm on Twitch. That's about all I know. All right. I'm going to get off of here because my old throat's getting dry and my grandbabies need to come in and take a nap. And I will see you guys later on. Thank you so much for stopping in, dropping by. I look forward to seeing you again Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Sarah. So, set an alarm maybe. I will see you guys later on. Peace out.